begin tonight with that major ask of the Buffalo Bills. Good evening, I'm Dan Schrack. The Pagulas reportedly seeking more than $1 billion to build a new stadium in Orchard Park. Buffalo Plus has been following this story. Jenna Cottrell joining us with what we know tonight. Jenna?
Yeah, 6 weeks ago, Buffalo Plus and 13 Wham Sports broke the news the Bills were planning to build a new stadium in Orchard Park. Now today, a Buffalo News report says the Pagulas are asking that project to be paid for by you. The Bills and Sabres owners are asking for the $1.5 billion proposal to be funded completely by taxpayers. Now, that is a lot of money, but the Pagulas are asking the project to include a new stadium for the Bills nearby the current stadium in Orchard Park, as well as renovations to the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo, where the Sabres play. Now, the Bills have 2 years left on their lease with the Erie County at Highmark Stadium, so these just the beginning of negotiations. But the concern is the Bills could leave Western New York if the state doesn't work with the Pagulas to help fund the stadium. Now, we reached out to lawmakers in Albany, as well as Pagula Sports Entertainment, for a statement on the Bills' proposed stadium and funding. We have not heard back as of yet. But coming up tonight in sports, our take on what's happening now and what it'll mean for the future of your wallet, as well as the Bills playing in Western New York. All
right, and 13 Wham's Natalie Kutchko is catching up with local Bills fans on where they stand with these preliminary talks. Natalie?
Yeah, Dan, well, we've spoken with a variety of Bills fans here tonight at the distillery on Mount Hope in Rochester. But earlier today, we spoke with a devoted season ticket holder who says her family would be quite devastated for the team to lose a part of its longtime history. Now, while this is only a proposal in its beginning stages, she also says she's concerned that season tickets would no longer be affordable. Tammy Boglione and her family have been fans for decades. Within the last 10 years, they decided to invest in season tickets. In that time, they and many other Bills fans have seen the Bills home base go through major brand changes, from Ralph Wilson Stadium to now Highmark Stadium, and of course changes in between, an adjustment she says they've become accustomed to. With the owner's proposal for a new stadium expected to be funded by taxpayers, she says it would come as a hard hit for her and many other fans.
You know, I know a lot of people want a new stadium, but you know, it's, for me, I like where we are. I like where it is. It could just stay that way. Because like I said, I don't want to be priced out of it. Things change, I guess, right? You either go with the flow or you miss out. So we'd be up for, you know, anything, I suppose. If somebody's messaging me there. But I would be very sad to see, you know, it go. And I know the price tag is the big thing. You know, everybody wants a new stadium, but, you know, nobody actually wants to pay for it. So it's obviously in the beginning stages.
And we have reached out to the governor's office for comment and have yet to hear back. We're also told the Bills declined to comment on this.
Percent of Americans live in a county deemed to have high or substantial COVID transmission. Good evening, I'm Dan Schrack. Now, it's important to point out much of New York State, including most of the Finger Lakes region, is listed as moderate. The latest data from the state shows a positivity rate in the Finger Lakes region of 2.57%. More than 3,000 New Yorkers tested positive for COVID yesterday, but there is concern with the Delta variant that those numbers are going to increase as we head towards fall. While cases in our area are okay, specific zip codes in the region are still labeled among the worst in the state for vaccinations. 13 Wham's Natalie Kutchko explains how one Rochester organization is setting out to change that. Natalie?
Dan, the Vineyard Farm in Rochester announced a new door-to-door campaign today where volunteers plan to deliver COVID kits filled with PPE supplies to thousands of households in the 14605 zip code, where they plan to start their efforts first. Sister Marcia Allen of the Vineyard Farm was joined by Rochester mayoral primary winner Malik Evans to address where the city stands when it comes to concerns over the Delta variant, as well as progress made so far with vaccinations. The Vineyard Farm is an organization which works with many families facing poverty in Rochester. Its goal with this campaign is to educate about getting the COVID vaccine and provide resources to those who might need them.
And we want to ensure that we increase these numbers in these zip codes, particularly 14605 and 14608, and is seventh worst in the state. Yeah. So that is a concern for all of us. So we want to make sure that we bring awareness to that.
We're in an existential threat in our zip code. So we can say that 70% of the state has at least one vaccine, but those are not our numbers. So we have to fight and we have to lead like the house is on fire. And that's the motivation this team has. We know it's on fire.
And we're told those vaccination efforts from the organization will continue well into the fall in several zip codes. They do plan to vaccinate in 14605 about 4,000 households.
As the Delta variant continues to spread, threatening a return of pandemic restrictions, the race to educate and vaccinate is once again ramping up.
You have to come to where people are.
Operation Lightspeed is a door-to-door effort targeting specific zip codes with low vaccination rates. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Schrack. Organizers fear if they don't act, we could see local cases spike. 13 WHAM's Natalie Kutchko explains how this group plans to keep that from happening. Natalie?
Dan, the Vineyard Farm in Rochester announced a door-to-door campaign today where volunteers plan to deliver COVID kits filled with PPE supplies to thousands of households in the 14605 zip code, where they plan to start their efforts first. Sister Marcia Allen leads the Vineyard Farm on Sanders Street in Rochester, an outreach program which helps thousands of impoverished families on a daily basis. With growing concerns surrounding the Delta variant, Sister Marcia announced the campaign Operation Lightspeed, where hundreds of volunteers will go door to door in the coming weeks to help tackle vaccine hesitancy. They'll start in zip code 14605.
We're in an existential threat in our zip code. So we can say that 70% of the state has at least one vaccine, but those are not our numbers. So we have to fight and we have to lead like the house is on fire.
The group plans to get to more than 4,500 households to start, where they'll hand out PPE supplies to families who might not have access.
The mask, digital thermometer, those things cost $4. People who have very limited resources, they're not going to spend $4.
Sister Marcia was joined by mayoral primary winner Malik Evans, who addressed the fact that 2 Rochester area zip codes, including 14605 and 14608, are among the worst in vaccination rates statewide. Both areas average about 49% of the population having received at least one dose.
I want schools to be open. I want us not to have to worry about having to put back masks on. And we can do that. We can do that with the right information and the choices that people make. We don't want to be on the map for these numbers that we have.
Evans and leaders at the Vineyard Farm are hopeful their efforts will help turn that around.
We see ourselves as a one-stop shop so that people don't have to run here to get food. They don't have to run there to get vaccinated. They don't have to go there. You got 3 kids, no car. That doesn't work.
The Vineyard Farm will be open for vaccinations each Saturday afternoon leading into the fall. We're told the group will expand their door-to-door outreach into other zip codes in need as well.